Hello, I'm Todd Hall, President and CEO of TruLiant. As we mark our 70th anniversary in 2022, we reflect on a rich history that would not be possible without the support of the great city of Winston-Salem. From our humble beginnings in 1952 to the present, where we will soon serve over 300,000 members, hire our 1,000th employee, and exceed $4 billion in assets, to a future poised for continued growth, I am proud of the work we are doing together. TruLiant is grateful for and remains committed to Winston-Salem and all of Forsyth County.
Welcome to the Greater Conversations podcast. I'm Deetra Miller, the Director of Member Relations and Engagement at Greater Winston-Salem, Inc. We'll use this platform to showcase our local businesses, our community, and their stories. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the show. I am very excited today to share with you something that a lot of people don't know about. It's called the CARES Project. And today we have two people from the CARES Project with us to talk about it. Scott McLaughlin, the president of the CARES Project, and Melinda Beauchamp.
Well, that's pretty. I like that. But we do say in Davie County, Beauchamp.
Beauchamp? Really?
Yeah, yes.
Okay.
That's actually the British pronunciation. Beauchamp.
Oh, well.
The French pronunciation is Beauchamp.
Oui.
And
Oui.
because I took French in high school, that's which way I went. But we are going to go with the Davie County.
It is British.
Beauchamp. Mm-hmm. Well, hello, Melinda Beauchamp.
Hello, Deetra.
Well, listen, I am so glad that you guys are here today to talk about the CARES Project. So, Scott, we're going to start with you.
Okay.
So, you're the president of the CARES Project.
Mm-hmm.
Talk a little bit about what the CARES Project is and what you do.
The CARES Project is a nonprofit corporation that is a community development financial institution, a CDFI. And that means that our organization has been certified by the United States Treasury to provide capital to low-income people and low-income communities, which means that we provide financing for low-income people in low-income communities. And the CARES Project, capital C, capital A, capital R, little e, little s, we use our financing power to finance vehicle loans for low-income people.
Wow.
Because it's important that someone be able to get to work.
Mm-hmm.
If you have a job but you can't get to work, you're not going to go anywhere economically. And the power of this is that we have found that someone who purchases a car through our financing ends up, by the time the car is paid off, pretty near economically self-sufficient.
Wow. That's amazing.
It is.
Our average client who completes this process starts out with a FICO score of 450 points. Now, if you know anything about FICO scores, you know nobody's going to lend you any money with 450 score.
Right.
By the time they finish paying off the car, the average FICO score is 601.
Wow.
So we have an average increase of 152 points. And by the time they're done, they can go into a bank or a credit union and get a loan on their own. And that's the power of the CARES Project, because we not only finance the vehicle, but we teach people how to manage money, how to budget their money, how to take care of that asset that they purchased. So it's really a life-transforming event.
I love that. I love that. Melinda, whenever someone comes into the CARES Project and they say, I really want a car, I want to take advantage of this, what does it look like? What do people need to have in place in order to apply?
Well, they can actually start the process online. We make it very, very simple. So they can go online and they can start with an application. And it's an easy application that they can fill out and send in, and they're going to start by looking at their own finances. They're going to start with filling out a budget, like a month's budget of how they spend their money. And we're going to start working with them on how what that looks like. And they're going to work with a certified financial coach. And this is a person who doesn't just do financial coaching as a hobby. This is a person who has gone through a course. What is the course again, Scott?
The National Financial Educators Council.
Wow.
It's a very sophisticated financial coaching course. Our coaches are trained in this particular kind of financial coaching, and they're going to go through this with this particular client. The whole period of the time that they're with us, the life of the loan.
Oh,
but
wow.
it's not overnight. That's the thing that we want folks to understand. It doesn't happen overnight. It may take a few weeks for them to get through this process. It may take 6 weeks for them to get through this process. But it will start with a simple application online.
I love that. Now, Scott, Melinda mentioned the fact that they go through this coaching period for the lifetime of the loan.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a fee associated with applying for the CARES project, for the coaching? What kind of expenses are attached to being a part of this, if any?
There are no fees, no application fees, no origination fees. We charge between 6 and 8% interest on our loans because that's the way that we become self-sufficient over time. And that's still a very low interest rate for someone coming in at a 450 FICO score.
Oh, sure. Absolutely.
Subprime auto loans can have up to 29% interest.
Wow.
And so part of what we do is also consumer protection as well. For every person that we're able to place a loan, we're protecting them from a predator, a predatory lender that's going to charge them 3 times that amount at least.
Wow.
But no, there are no fees associated with it. And every loan we make, we service it. We don't sell them. We're not a bank. We're not a finance company. We're not a loan company. We're a CDFI that gives us the ability to conduct financing, but we're really a nonprofit dedicated to teaching people how to manage their money, how to budget their money. And we have a process by which, as they pay their car loan off, that they become increasingly self-sufficient economically.
I love that. Melinda, how long is a typical car loan?
About, it can be 60 months. But about the average is about 60 months.
That's awesome. How are cars chosen?
We have a wonderful fellow who works with us. You can get your cars at any dealership, but we have a special relationship with Flow Motors.
That's
and
awesome.
We have a fellow that works with us by the name of Kevin Bruce there. And he works very diligently with our customers and helping them choose the car that's right for them. But you can get your car anywhere that you want to. But we like to work with dealers that want to work with our clients that through the life of the loan, whether it's 3 years or longer, that work with us on maintenance. Flow will work with us on just basic maintenance for the life of the loan.
That's fantastic.
But we like working with Kevin because he understands our clients. He understands what their needs are. He understands that folks that come to us have not had the kind of structure that many people have grown up with, and that's what we're providing along with this process. Someone that hasn't had an uncle to go to when they are ready to buy a car, and they haven't had that kind of support. And so all of a sudden, we're providing that through Kevin and his help in buying the car, through our financial coach that they can come to when there are issues, it just makes for a good buying experience.
I love that. I love that. Scott, on average, how many folks apply for and are accepted into the program?
Well, last year we had 250 applications. We only had enough loan capital to make 12 loans. We've gone through our loan capital completely. This year we expect to have quite a bit more to be received by us from the CDFI fund. But we loan out every cent that we can every year that we can.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, a lot more people apply than we're able to give loans to, just because of the fact that we don't have the loan capital to help every single person. But, it takes a special kind of person, though, to go through this program. They have to have the interior motivation and really want to turn their lives around. They really have to. We have a saying that we'll invest in you if you're ready to invest in yourself.
Oh, that's great.
And some people get that message, but many of our applicants don't. We require a lot of information from people. The financial coach goes through bank statements thoroughly, and the financial coach actually ends up telling the applicant, here's what you're really making and here's what you're really spending every month.
Wow.
And most of the time they don't have enough room in that budget to afford a car payment. So that's when the real work begins, the negotiation with that applicant. Can you cut this expense out? Can you do this, take this action? Maybe get another part-time job to get that client to the point where they can afford a car payment and the insurance, maintenance, and gasoline.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing.
And not everybody's willing to do some of those things.
Yeah.
I mean, what if it means, I can't get my nails done? Are you willing?
Yeah. Or just, some people think that we're prying into their private, money situation, but we're not, because the point is not just to give you a car, it's to train you for a lifetime in how to handle your money.
Well, it changes your life. It's going to change your life.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's a process that any of us could actually go through.
I love that.
Any of us.
I love that.
Yeah.
Well, I can see how it can be life-changing, because we're living in a city or the Triad area. We don't have subways.
Nope.
Or a ton of railways and things of that nature. We still use cars to get back and forth. And so if you have an opportunity to work, more than likely you're going to have to drive yourself or carpool with somebody to make sure that you're there on time. And if you have to work overtime or if you have to pick your kids up from school.
Well, in many cases, you're going to work outside the county as well.
That's true.
I think if you live in Davie County, where I live, you're going to work elsewhere, more than likely. So even if there was a public transportation, a bus system, for example, in one of the outlying counties that we work with, it's not going to cross a county line.
Right.
And so you've in our area, you've got to be able to go to another county to work.
Wow.
So, yeah. And talking about public transportation, even in Winston, for clients that we talk to who have the experience of riding the bus, if you're having to get to and from work, these folks talk about having to spend 3 and 4 hours a day on the bus trying to get to and from work. Can you imagine if you're trying to get to work on time?
Yes.
And then trying to get home to your children to fix dinner, or how do you get them from school? How do you go to school activities? How do you get them to the doctor? All the things that those of us who have vehicles take for granted.
Yes.
It's amazing when you think about it. The bus system might be good for some things, but for folks in our situation who are working with families, it doesn't work so well. You've got to have your own transportation in this day and time.
You mentioned Winston-Salem. Of course, we're in Forsyth County. You mentioned Davie. How many counties are you in?
We service 3 counties, Forsyth, Davie, and Davidson.
Love it. Love it. That's fantastic. I'd love to know one of your favorite stories. I want to hear one from each of you, actually, about someone who went through the process, didn't mind opening themselves up so that you could look at their financial picture and get them going on the right track. And they're still today succeeding. I'd love to hear a story. We'll start with you, Melinda.
I'd like to tell you one of my favorite stories from the past. The CARES project was actually an organization that was developed from a similar program from the past. And my favorite story and why I fell in love with this program 15 years ago now, is this story. There was a customer who had done really well for several months paying on her car, and all of a sudden we stopped hearing from her. And unlike a bank or a credit union, we start trying to get in touch with her for a month. We don't hear from her. You don't just run out and try to find her and get her car, get the car back. Another month, we don't hear from her. Keep trying. Another month. Finally, the lady calls in, and let's say her name was Ann. Ann, what in the world is going on? And she said, well, listen, I lost my job, and I've been trying to find work. I haven't been able to find anything. So now I've been evicted from my apartment. Now I'm living in this car.
Wow.
Are you going to take that away from me too?
Wow.
And the answer was no. Come in. We need to hear from you. Come in. Let us help you find a job, get back on your feet. We'll put your car payments on the back of your loan. See, we could do that. We're not a bank. We're not a credit union. We don't have those constraints on us. We can help somebody like that. And we did just that. Helped her find another job, helped her get back on her feet. She got right back on with her car payments. She finished her loan off successfully and was very successful with getting back on her feet. And it's just
What
one of my
an
favorite.
amazing story!
It's a tear. I've told it 100 times, and it brings tears to my eyes every time.
It is a tearjerker.
It is. It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
I love that. Scott, what's one of your favorite stories?
This is one from last year about a fellow that spent 6 years in prison. And while he was in prison, he got himself certified for HVAC work and certified as a welder. Got out of prison, was in the community court service, and the community court service referred this gentleman to us because he was renting a very cheap apartment, and he relied on a bus to get back and forth to work, and there were no jobs in HVAC or welding along the bus route. Yeah. So he was working in a hotel somewhere. So we were able to qualify him for a loan. He bought a very beautiful Honda Accord, one of the prettiest Accords I've ever seen. And he said, now I'm going to go get my job. So just that alone helped him bridge the gap there in continuing his life from a very low point.
Wow. I love that. I love that.
He's such a gentle soul. He's
Yeah,
just such a
yeah.
good guy. Just a really good guy.
Yeah.
And I imagine that most of the people that you're helping are really good people
Yes.
that just need a hand up.
Yeah,
Exactly.
that's right.
That's it, Deidre. A hand up. This is not a handout. We don't give things away. You do have to be working. You are going to pay this back. It's not giving people junk cars
Right.
that you're going to see on cinder blocks in front yards. How many cars do you see like that? Those are cars that have broken down that people cannot afford to get fixed. They could have even been purchased from a buy here, pay here, and they're still paying on them,
Wow.
but they can't afford to have them fixed.
Wow.
And they just haven't repossessed them yet.
Wow.
But it's not a giveaway program. People say, "Gosh, why aren't you just giving these cars away?" That's not what we're in the business to do. We're in the business of taking folks who are struggling, working, struggling, and taking them to the next point in their life of self-sufficiency. They've started this program on public assistance. And generally, as Scott said, it bears repeating, within a couple of years of finishing our program, are generally off public assistance.
Wow. Wow.
It changes lives.
I love that. I love what you're doing. I'm loving that Forsyth County is one of the counties in which you're helping people.
Right.
Well, I have to transition into this because of Forsyth County and because of Winston-Salem.
Yeah.
I want to know from both of you, what do you love about Winston-Salem? Is it a restaurant? Is it a sporting event? Is it the concert scene? Is the art scene? Like, what is it that you love about Winston?
Winston-Salem is home. See, I was born and raised here. I'm an old Moravian.
Ah,
Yeah.
okay.
So my family is from here. So, I mean, is there one thing I could pick out? That's hard to do when you really think about home,
Yes.
because it's just your home. I went to school here. I went to Reynolds.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My mother went to Reynolds.
Really?
Yeah. My Aunt Ruby went to Reynolds.
It's a family affair.
It's a family affair. And so I went off to college and came back
Yes.
to Winston. What a neat place to grow up. I mean, you've got everything here. You've got a great medical community.
Mm-hmm.
You've got a thriving art scene.
Yes.
But when it comes to what we do with the CARES Project, a cool thing about Winston-Salem is its diversity in its business community, the network,
Yes.
and diversity of its businesses.
Yes.
And we're in the business of helping businesses to keep good employees,
I love that.
because you can't keep good employees who can't get to work
That's right.
or who cannot get to work on time.
That's right.
So we are here to partner with these good businesses, these plants and manufacturers, the hospitals, the nursing homes, who need folks in their places on time to do what they need to be doing to help that business thrive and to grow. We're here to partner with them to help make sure that happens.
Wow.
But that's what I love about Winston-Salem.
Wow. I don't know. Scott, can you top that?
Sorry, Scott.
I was going to say, well, it's not High Point. That's where I was raised.
That in itself is a plus.
Yeah. Nothing bad about High Point. But,
No.
No, High Point's good.
We're okay with it, Nito.
yeah. I think the diversity of Winston-Salem's outstanding. And I love the downtown. I love the fact that there is a historical site
Yes.
right off from downtown. I'm going back several generations in Old Moravian as well. I've got some folks buried in that cemetery at Home Church.
Yep.
But I just like the diversity and the liveliness of downtown. And as far as the CARES project is concerned, Melinda is exactly right. One of the things that we attempt to do in our work in the chamber,
Yes.
for example, is to talk to businesses about our services so that they know if they have a good employee that can't get to work, let them know about us, you know,
Yes.
because we can help them. And we have had employers refer their employees to us, and we've been able to help them to maintain their job because they would have lost it without us.
Wow. What an amazing service you provide. Thank you so much for that. And because you're a nonprofit organization, for folks that are listening that may be interested in donating, is that an option?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
How would they do that?
They can give us a call at 840-1555, or they can go online to thecaresproject.org, and there's a little button that says donate here. But we'd love to hear from anybody who would support our work, obviously. And anybody who's working for a company that sees this as a value to their company, please give us a call or send us an email. We'd be happy to talk with you.
That's fantastic. Scott, Melinda, thank you so much for being here. Is there anything that we didn't touch on today that you'd like to share with everyone listening?
There is. When we talk about what's great about Winston-Salem and Forsyth County, we'd be remiss if we did not add the fact that the United Way of Forsyth County lives here, and the Winston-Salem Foundation live here.
Yes.
And those are incredible organizations that have been incredibly supportive of the
Yes.
CARES project.
Oh, that's great.
We wouldn't be where we are today without them. We wouldn't have been able to move from where we began in Davie County into where we wanted to be, which was in Forsyth County, without United Way of Forsyth County.
Wow.
Thank you, United Way of Forsyth County. And then their partnership with the Winston-Salem Foundation and the support that they have given us. Because of the Winston-Salem Foundation, we were able to have this great piece on Fox 8 Community Cares.
Oh, wonderful.
Yes, they
Yeah.
did this incredible piece on the CARES project that just boosted our ratings, I guess you would call it. The calls that came in after that ran were just incredible. So talk about support and funding. Boy, I want to thank those two organizations especially
Wow.
for being there for us.
That's amazing. Again, another great example, Tim, of our community coming together to support one another.
Totally agree. I love this town so much.
Well, again, Scott and Melinda, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for talking about the CARES project. And again, for everyone listening, if you're interested in applying, if you're interested in sharing the information, or if you're interested in donating, go to thecaresproject.org. Until next time. We know you enjoyed this podcast today, so join us for the next episode of Greater Conversations. By the way, you can follow us on social media. We're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Be sure to smash that subscribe button. Also, be sure to visit our website at winstonsalem.com. The views and opinions stated in this podcast are solely those of the contributors and not necessarily those of our sponsors, distributors, or hosting companies. This podcast is copyrighted and cannot be reproduced without expressed written consent of Greater Winston-Salem, Inc. or your toast.